What's up my loves, my name is Paige, this is Pages with Paige, and this is the start of Cluedo Chooses my December TBR. Welcome to my new TBR game, which is Cluedo. I'm so excited. Thank you so much to Cara from Bianca Reads for helping me nut this all out and make it work the best way that it possibly could. I was in a chaotic zone when I was like, we're gonna do all this, and this, and she's really helped me just bring it in and figure out what I actually want to be doing. The way that this is going to work is essentially I'm going to play a single player version of Cluedo over the next few months. Each room is going to have 2 lots of cards, and then you'll have your 3 in the confidential pile, and then each month I will go and work my way into different rooms. If I don't land in a room and I land on an empty space, then I will be performing a challenge. These books are not mandatory. So with Twister, I found that my reading and mandatory reads were just going above and beyond, and it was not demoralizing my reading, but it just wasn't making me feel motivated. I was feeling more stressed than not. So Cluedo is a step back. It is chill on my body and it is chill on my reading. So essentially, if I don't land in a room, which you can't do for at least 1 roll when initially starting the game, I will be performing a challenge and I'll be using a, and then when I land in a room or choose to stay in a room, I can mix and match depending on how the layout works for me, and then I will pick out 2 prompts from my TBR bag, the same ones we were using for Twister, and then I need to read a book that matches that prompt, or if it's a TBR game or something like that, doing that challenge as well. So there might be double ups in terms of the challenges. I've taken a lot of inspiration from those prompts and put them into the wheel. With that, I will be using the same layout till I complete the board and can make an accusation. We're working towards finalizing that and what is in the confidential file, and I will receive a prize when I reach that point. I have not decided what that will be as of yet, so if you want to let me know in the comments what that will be, or some ideas for it, I would greatly appreciate it. We're saying that there is no punishments for not completing the books, aside from the fact that I won't be able to access the card, so then I cannot finish the game soon. There'll be no punishment if I don't read my challenge books, but if I don't read the books that are designated for a card, then I don't get to see the card, and that's essentially adding on extra time because I have to go back to those rooms to be able to get it again. It's one of those ones that it makes sense as you play. I think that's everything. It's not overly detailed. The original idea from Cluedo is a combination of Danielle from Bookchara's one where she correlates books to each of them, and then she has her 3 that she has to read to be able to win the next round, and also from Naomi's bookshelf where she has a prompt for every 2 cards and she has to work her way through and do it that way. I've essentially done her way, but I'm extending it out rather than doing it every month, is reading those 9 prompts, because I felt that was even more restrictive than Twister, which wasn't what I wanted. And then on top of that, doing the 2 prompts, so I then have that extra little element to it so I can get both of those cards. If I end up not reading one of my mandatories, it doesn't matter. I don't then have to lose any points. I just have to go back to that room, which will extend the game out for a little bit longer. So we'll see how it goes. If you have any questions once you've seen this first round, leave them below. I'm more than happy to answer. But let's go on to roll number 1. So I'm going to set up the board. Essentially the way that this will work will be the different icons will go in different rooms, and the people as well. If I end up having the cards in those rooms that correlate to either the person, the weapon, or the room itself, then I get to buy a hardcover book. I still can buy hardcovers. This isn't like a ban for it, but I just know that I can go and get them. Ash will be recording all the board layout, so then we will be able to keep this ongoing. Like I've said, this will be an ongoing game, and we're working towards solving this in the middle, so it might take us a few months, but we shall see. And yeah, so first things first, we need to get our cards. So for next month, I will need Ash to set up the board. This is going to be one of those games that make more sense as you play. There we go, because there's a few bits and pieces that I've incorporated to make it a little bit more interesting. Yeah. Alrighty, so that is done. So Ash will look in that and see what it is and note it down, so then I won't know. Also, the main reason we're writing it down is because I would like to be able to play this in between filming TBRs.
Alright. So let's also set up the rooms. So I'm going to put the candlestick in the dining room, the gun in the billiards room, the knife in the kitchen, the lead pipe in the conservatory, the rope in the library, and the wrench in the hall. Then for shits and gigs we're going to do Mrs. White in the dining room, Miss Scarlet in the ballroom, Professor Plum in the library, Mr. Green in the conservatory, and Colonel Mustard can be in the study.
So I'm going to be playing as Mrs. Peacock, I always do. Once I finish the first round with Mrs. Peacock, I cannot play with her again. I have to pick another character. We'll be doing 5 rolls, and let's see how we go. Roll number 1 is a 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So with this being a non-room, I will be flicking over to do my wheel and doing a challenge prompt. These are not mandatory, but help make some more with my TBR. Alrighty, so roll number 1 was a challenge. So let's see what we're going to get. I've created a list of 28 different prompts, mostly relating to other people's TBR games and stealing that, and then we'll work out where we want to go from there. Ready? So here we go. Oh, I'm so excited. Alrighty. So the first challenge is Candyland. So when I mean Candyland, I mean Litland by Caitlin E from the Lit Review. So I am essentially going to go back and watch her November TBR and see what her first challenge is.
Okay. Non-fiction. Oh, non-fiction. So, all the way over there.
Alrighty. Her first pull was non-fiction. I have so many things I want to be reading. Fuck. Alright. Cool. Let me go find that and I will be back. I'm also going to change my camera battery because I forgot to charge it before filming. For the non-fiction from Litland, I've decided to go with Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Edo Lodge. I hate that I have not got to this yet, even though this is a challenge, so technically I don't have to read these books. I'm going to read this book. I have to make sure this happens because it's been on my TBR for way too long. So it's going to happen. I'm going to make it that this is done by the end of this year because it's ridiculous that I still haven't done it already. On to roll number 2. It's a 1. Fuck. Okay. Again, another challenge. Roll number 2 was another challenge. So let's load back up my wheel and I'm gonna deactivate each of these so they won't come up until we finish the game again. If I need to add more prompts, then I can totally do that. Alrighty, number 2, please be nicer to me. Alrighty, so challenge number 2 was a Twitter poll, so I'm going to make that now, and hopefully by the end of filming I will have actually got an answer. So jumping in just to say, hey, the poll is done, and why did I do this to myself? Honestly, I have this. I didn't need to do this to myself. So the book that won the Twitter poll is Ship of Destiny by Robin Hobb, which is the 3rd in the Life Ship Traders trilogy, which I have absolutely loved. I don't actually own the 3rd book physically as of yet. I have the audiobook and I have the ebook, but I'm waiting to get these particular editions. So there is one place in Australia that I know that has it, so I might bite the bullet and just buy it. We're saying that, let's see what will be my other big book pick. Let's go this one. Inksspell. So if I haven't got to this by the start of next month, I will be adding this on.
Oh, hi.
Oh, it's an Ash face! I'm so glad that you still get to be a part Leviathan.
Leviathan.
Thank you. I got kisses. Those are two other big books that I can dive into if I finish Ship of Destiny and have not sure where I want to read next. On to roll number 3. Here's a 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2. So that's using the secret passageway. And I need to draw out 2 prompts. So the first prompt will be script and the second will be mood read. So for roll number 3, I decided to skip over this conservatory and go to the study. So I went there and I ended up picking out the prompt of script and mood read. So for my script read, I'm going to be reading either Letters from Father Christmas by J.R.R. Tolkien or The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum. I think these will just be really cute reads. So since they're on script, I'm going to do that. And for my mood read, I'm going to read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I've wanted to get to this all year, so I'm finally buckling down and getting it off my TBR. I'm super excited to get to it, and I think it will be a nice breezy read. I don't know why I've put it off all year, but we're finally getting to it. And on to roll number 4. Is a 6. Okay. So I can either go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need another 2 prompts. 1 and 2. So more really great characters and beautiful cover. So for roll number 4, I ended up in the ballroom, again skipping over the conservatory, and I was like, yeah, I'll be able to go back. I got morally great characters and beautiful cover. For morally great characters, I've decided to go with Go Ask Alice by Anonymous. So this has now come to light that it was originally promoted as a non-fiction diary from this real 15-year-old drug addict, but it is actually, it's a Mormon individual trying to promote these as real diaries to steer clear kids away from drugs and things like that. From the premise, originally I was like, I don't feel comfortable putting this as morally great characters. That just, it doesn't sit well with me if this is someone's, or based off someone's real life, that it doesn't, I was really uncomfortable about it. So researching into it more and realizing this is actually a fictional take and it's meant to be used as a scaremongering tactic for kids, I'm curious, not gonna lie. And the reason I'm reading this is for the Pop Sugar Challenge is, and I need to read something that was published anonymously. So technically this was published anonymously to begin with, but has now been proven to be someone. So that's all I know about it. I'm gonna read it and cross off my last Pop Sugar reading challenge prompt with this. Just the whole situation seems morally grey, not just the characters' experiences as well. And for beautiful cover, I'm gonna go with Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, which is book 1, The Sword of Summer. So this is gonna be the Buzzwordathon, which is either having a season, a month, or a day in the title. So I'm keen to continue on with Rick Riordan's work. I haven't touched any of his work since finishing the Percy Jackson series. I got this discounted from Ash's book, so I'm gonna read it and, oh, that's cute. See how I get along with it. I think this cover is absolutely stunning. Every time I saw it in the discount bin, I was like, I want that. I think the reason they marked it down was because of this scratching along here, but honestly, it's still stunning. So this is what I'm going for beautiful cover. On to our 5th and final roll. It's a 2. Shit. Okay. I've made a mistake. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, which is another challenge. So my first game of Cluedo, and I have 4 mandatory books and 3 extras. Alrighty, and roll number 5, our last roll, was another challenge. So let's see what we've got. Alrighty, here we go. I'm getting scared doing this. Hey, okay, I got categories. So I can do this two ways. I can either do categories, the flashcards, and see if I can make a book off that, or I go and watch Brianna from Four Paws in a Books. I'm going to actually use my cards this time. So this is my categories card game. I love playing categories out in its actual form, but I saw this in an op shop for like $2 with everything still attached, so I figured it would be a good thing to buy. And then we played it when my mum was up, and it was fucking hilarious, so zero regrets. So I've got purple cards, which are letters, and reds that are categories. So let's have a look at our category, and it is animal, and our letter is frog. Okay, a book relating about frogs. I could have gone flamingos and gone pink. Okay, so it just needs to relate to frog in some way. A book relating to frogs. Ash, since filming that clip, Ash has come home and he was like, why don't you say fox and Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa? Because darling, that would be the fucking smart thing to do. So instead, we've gone with frogs. It is a extreme stretch to make this happen, but bear with me. And that is Magic Lessons by Alice Hoffman. I want to read this before the next one, the Book of Magic, I think, goes into small paperback form. I've collected most of them in these editions, even though they don't actually look cohesive in the UK covers. Is what it is. The reason I'm correlating this to frogs is that they play a predominant part, frogs and toads, in the Practical Magic book. It's witchy, so I always correlate witch and frogs and spells and things like that. So that's what we're going with. Don't come for me. This is my game and my rules, and it hurts my soul, but I'm going to stretch it and do this. So this plus Go Ask Alice, either Christmas book by L. Frank Baum or Tolkien, as well as Ship of Destiny. It's like, this looks manageable. And then I think of everything else and I'm like, oh fuck. Quickly jumping in, I also need to read Stars Above for the Lunaralong, which is the short stories after the Lunar Chronicle series for the Lunaralong, hosted by Danielle from Bookchara and Amy from A-Star Reads. Bye! November has been a very interesting month for me so far. I was keeping up to date until the 18th of having read 18 things. It has since fallen off the wagon a little bit, and I haven't touched a book for nearly 2 days, and I'm probably not going to touch it tonight, so yeah, it's fine. I think I'm just a little stressed, so I've been like, reading can take a backseat. I've done enough. Also, just to let you know, a Chaos round of Twisted Star will be coming for my 1K celebration. Ash and I are just figuring out everything that we want to do for that, so it's going to take a little bit of time to plan. You will definitely see it sometime in December. Let me know, how did you get along with it? I'm super excited. Cluedo is literally my favorite game, so I wanted to, once I realized Twister was no longer working to my reading desires, I wanted to change it up, and I knew that I wanted to go with Cluedo. So yeah, let me know how you feel in the comments below. If you like this video, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more of this mess, feel free to subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you in my next video. Bye!